Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we analyze MicroStrategy and its ticker MSTR. None of the content is financial advice. We look at the overall retirement related model for MSTR as it stands between the next 15 years, between 2025 to 2040. We discuss 4 cases. The first case is the bear case, and the second is base. The third is bull case, and the fourth is uber bull case. Right now, the price is below the bear case forecast for 2025. The bear case forecast was at around $450. Price is at around less than $300. At one point, the price was above $446 as we had predicted in the bear case over here not too long ago. You can check out on this platform. Again, this is TradingView chart. In middle of July of 2025, the price was above $450, but now again has had a lackluster second half of the year. Thus far, again, the 20-week simple moving average and the 50-week simple moving average, all between that $340 mark to $360 marks. So that range is where the 3 significant moving averages are there. So that would be some area of resistance before a breakout, if there is a breakout in the later half of the month of October and November, December. In terms of what is the base case scenario with all of this in mind for 2025 for MSTR is at around somewhere between $450 and $540. Those are the base case. The bull case for 2025 was at around $692, and the uber bull case was at around $832. At one point, MSTR's price action again in 2024 was at around $550. So at that point, these forecasts were looking very conservative, but now as the price has died down quite a bit from that point, they are looking more and more optimistic. Right now, even the bear case looks more optimistic than ever before. For this particular analysis, what we will do is ignore 2025 for now and hope that the price action eventually catches up. But starting point for this analysis would be 2026. If in 2026 the price has a floor at around $350, close to what the current price is, slightly above that, if the floor is at around this point, and then if the compound annual growth rate from there on is 45% year over year till the next bear market year in 2030, then the price in 2029 could be at around $1,000. Going forward with this analysis, this is the compound annual growth rate model, the CAGR model, available on cryptoweeklies.com. Link on the bottom of your screen. This is the home page. In the proxies section, if you go MicroStrategy, and then again in MicroStrategy under the CAGR model, which is the compound annual growth rate model, this model helps identify what could be a bull case scenario for MicroStrategy, and again also the bear case scenario. If let's say instead of 45%, the price action only grows 15% annual over annual, and this year the price peaks at around $450, like it has had the yearly high close to that $450 level. If we are under this regimen, then again tougher days are ahead of us. Again, going to that $500 level, if price action only grows 15% year over year, would take about 3 to 4 years to get to that $500 mark. If on the other hand, if the scenario looks slightly more optimistic than that, let's say the 25% annual growth model is followed by MicroStrategy, where the where 2025 peaks at instead of the bull case peaks at around base case at around $540 level, that could potentially bode well for the price action in the future years, such as 2029. The price ceiling would be at around $750 or so. Again, this is all assuming that there is no major stock split or something. Again, this time around, the price ceiling was thus far at around $457. So again, estimating a $540 MSTR is not too outlandish. Right now, it's not looking that great for MSTR. and its recent price action with a series of lower highs and lower lows essentially since middle of July, and has not even taken out the 2024 high that it made in that rally in early to mid November 2024. So going with the base case scenario again, as the compound annual growth rate is reduced from 45% to 25%, that also comes with a good caveat for the bear market bottoms. Again, if the volatility is higher to the upside, it is also lower to the higher to the downside as well. So if the CAGR is 45% in the 3 out of 4 non-bear market years for crypto, then in the bear market year, it's not too outlandish to anticipate a 50% decline in every every fourth year, that is like it was in 2018, 2022, and now potentially in 2026. This is all correlated with what Bitcoin did in 2018, again negative 76%. If you were to scroll to 2020, this is 2018, 2022 is negative 65% from the yearly open. So again, MicroStrategy being more volatile than Bitcoin to the upside and to the downside. That makes, again, if the growth rate continues that 40-45% year over year for BTC, that's why the bull case makes the most amount of sense. Again, not financial advice. With the data that we have thus far, we have seen mostly more volatility in terms of what MicroStrategy does with respect to what Bitcoin does. So again, if there is a positive volatility in the next 3 years after the 2030 bear market, the 2033 ceiling for MSTR is at around $1,600. The base case is at around $1,000. The bull case for MSTR in 2037 is $2,500. Again, almost 10x of the current stock price, slightly under 10x. The base case is at around $1,382 or $1,400. In 2040, the base bull case is at around $2,500, and the base case is around $1,500. So a delta of about $1,000 based on how volatile MicroStrategy stays in the next 15 years. That's $1,000 delta. And in terms of the number of shares required to be a MSTR millionaire, in the base case right now, again, if the price action peaks at around that magic number of $540 for this year, the number of MSTR shares required to be a MSTR millionaire would be around 1,850. That drops in 2029 to 1,350. In 2033, less than 1,000 shares of MSTR. In 2037, less than 750 shares of MSTR gets to that millionaire status. And in 2040, about 660 shares in that base case scenario. Whereas in the bull case scenario, the MSTR shares needed, again, if you want to tune out the noise of the volatility to both the upside and the downside, the number of shares do not change by much. From, let's say, in 2037, in the base case, you would need 720 shares, whereas in the bull case, you need about 407 shares of MicroStrategy to be a MicroStrategy millionaire. And this gap is even more narrower in the in the bearish phases of the market cycle. So for example, in the 2030 bear market, the bull case, you would need about slightly less than 1900 shares, whereas in the base case you would need slightly more than 1900 shares. So the delta is only 30 to 40 shares, 1900 shares in the bull case, base case 1930. In 2030, for the same story, 1250 shares in the bull case, base case 1400 shares. In the 2038 bear market, 815 shares in the bull case, whereas about 1,000 shares in the base case. So that's how the CAGR models work. Unfortunately, again, right now the price action not looking that great, but again, 15 years in the future, if there is a sustained growth of BTC adoption, and again MicroStrategy taking part in that growth as they keep on accumulating more and more Bitcoin and increase the Bitcoin per share ratio, that could bode well with their own stock growth if all things are equal. Again, not financial advice. This is, again, the price of MicroStrategy share is essentially a function of two things: the Bitcoin price, the Bitcoin holdings, and again multiplying that Bitcoin price and Bitcoin holdings that they have. That's the total the number of Bitcoins held on their balance sheets are at around 640,000 Bitcoin, multiplying by each individual Bitcoin price. That gets to the Bitcoin holding or that the number of Bitcoins that held on their balance sheet is at around 70 billion. Of that 98 billion enterprise value, again of which 83 billion is market cap, that 70 billion is covered by Bitcoin and the Bitcoin held on their balance sheet. So again, if you multiply the Bitcoin NAV and divide that 70 billion by that 83 billion, that's how you will get that NAV. So just for example, so this is dividing 83.4 by 69.5. That's how you would get these valuations. So my apologies, it's 98.2 the enterprise value, dividing it by the Bitcoin NAV. So 98.2 divided by 69.47 or 45 over here, that gets you to that number of about 1.42. That's the MNAV, that's the premium on Microstrategy's Bitcoin. So it's about 42% more expensive than the spot Bitcoin. Again, and that's the reason where the price again moves as a function of the Bitcoin holdings. The MNAV, which goes up in the bull market and goes down in the bear market. So there are instances where it's less than 1, where the price of the enterprise value of MSTR is lower than the Bitcoin held on their balance sheet. Again, that's again during the bearish phases of the crypto asset class. So that's something that I wanted to bring it up as well. All in all, again, if you look at the 4 scenarios in terms of the compound annual growth rate model, the range is a wider range between the bear case for 2040 between $650, which is essentially a 3x of, slightly lower than 3x of the current price of about $290, to the top of the range at around $2,600 in the next 15 years, which is again almost a 10x of the current price. With that, I would like to conclude by saying again, none of the content financial advice. All of these charts are updated every day. Again, not just the compound annual growth based model, the regression based analysis of what's the fair value of the MSTR price, how is it coming out as a topping pattern with this 2 standard deviation residual. What are some of the intermediate target for MSTR? What is the maximum permissible bull case? Right now it's at around $440 with respect to the regression based valuation for MicroStrategy. What is the risk level at which the DCA for MSTR makes the most amount of sense? Again, if you look at how the price is close enough to this dotted green line, accumulating below this dotted green line, usually historically speaking has worked out great, since this is again analyzing the stock since they started accumulating Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Also includes the forecast graph of what the price could be, again now that we are only 2 to 3 months away from the potential bear market of 2026. The max ceiling forecasted in the base case in the next 2 to 3 months is again the base case is at around $350, whereas the bull case ceiling is at around $812. That's the maximum permissible bull case for MSTR. And with that, I would like to conclude this video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please give a like and subscribe, and check out all of these charts on Crypto Weeklies. They are available for free. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.